Ignore the naysayers, Nancy Pelosi. Go to Taiwan. Listen 5 minutes comment gift article share Nancy Pelosi is facing a lot of resistance regarding her proposed trip to Taiwan next month, both from the Chinese government and President Biden. The Democratic House Speaker should ignore them and go anyway. Taiwan has emerged as a flashpoint in the quiet global conflict between Communist China and the United States. The island is a thriving democracy and an important part of the free world's economy. It dominates the crucial semiconductor market, for example, producing more than half of the world's chips and an even higher share of the most advanced devices. The free world would be shaken if Taiwan were to fall into China's grasp. That's exactly why Pelosi should go. Our Asian allies look to us to defend them against China's threat, and a visit by Pelosi would signal that Taiwan's quest to remain free is supported by top U.S. leaders. She would not need to say anything that contradicts prior U.S. policy, which has historically been ambiguous as to whether it would go to war to defend Taiwan if China invades. Her presence would simply send a message that within that ambiguity, the balance tilts toward Taiwan. China's anger is understandable. It has claimed the island since the end of the Chinese Civil War in 1949. As part of its normalization of relations with the United States in the 1970s, it insisted that the United States adopt a One China policy. Since then, it has never been a secret that China intends to reunify Taiwan with the mainland, even if it has to use force. The more the United States moves toward acknowledging Taiwan's de facto independence, the harder it will be for China to fulfill its aims without risking a war with the world's leading superpower. Follow Henry Olsen's opinions. Follow Biden's objection is less understandable. Technically, he did not disapprove of Pelosi's possible visit, he only said the US military thinks it is not a good idea right now. Presumably that is because our generals don't want to risk a confrontation with China while we are engaged in supplying weapons to Ukraine. The US military certainly is not prepared to fight two major wars simultaneously. Risking a Chinese invasion of Taiwan while also indirectly fighting Russia clearly puts the military on edge. But that concern should force the United States to think more clearly about the connection between its global commitments and its military capacity. If the United States is to lead a global alliance of democracies, as Biden and most of the foreign policy establishment want, we simply need a bigger and more modern military. If Pelosi's visit pushes China to make a threatening move short of war, such as moving substantial military assets in position to invade Taiwan, that would force the United States to make good on our word and invest more in our military. It's better we understand the costs of our aspirations and start to pay for them now rather than kick the can down the road again. It would also be bad for US policy if Pelosi now failed to visit the island in the face of Chinese bullying. Our allies have increasingly asked us to make clear commitments to defend Taiwan if China attacks. Nations such as Japan would surely view Pelosi canceling her visit as a sign that the United States is unwilling to test China's resolve. That sends a message of weakness, which Biden will not want to try to counteract. Anything more provocative than a visit to Taiwan from Pelosi would risk antagonizing our allies, or China, at an even greater level. Better she go now than place Biden under pressure he doesn't want in the future. U.S. ambiguity with respect to Taiwan served U.S. interests so long as China was weak. Americans could trade with Taiwan and China, enriching all parties, without the risk of an invasion. Now that China is militarily and economically strong, that straddling act no longer suffices. China will not back down. It will push us to choose between relations with it or defending Taiwan. It's better for the United States to decide which it values more now and build the capacity to accomplish that goal, rather than continue to put our head in the sand and hope the problem goes away. Defending Taiwan is in our national interest. Pelosi's quiet presence in Taipei would put us one step closer to finally acknowledging that and taking that commitment seriously.